Jews have been banned from a Muslim area. Now this is hardly news, you might think. Jews have been expelled from dozens of Muslim countries. The difference this time is that the Muslim area is in Britain. Israeli football club Maccabi Tel Aviv are due to play Birmingham side Aston Villa next month, and their fans have been banned from attending after West Midlands Police said they have public safety concerns outside the stadium. Specifically, they're worried about Israeli fans walking around outside the stadium in the Muslim area called the Whole of Britain. This follows violence in Amsterdam last year between Tel Aviv fans and the Muslims who are colonising that particular part of Europe. This was an orchestrated pogrom with leaked WhatsApp chats showing local Islamists organising part 2 of the Jew hunt. Hey, and some people say Muslims don't integrate into Western culture. Here they are keeping alive the Nazi traditions of Amsterdam's Jew hunts. The banning of Jewish fans from Birmingham is a worrying development, while the British football club will be taking the knee for BLM and flying their stand up to racism banners. They're very much lying down and capitulating to a horrific and violent type of racism. Yeah, there's a bad kind of racism. I couldn't believe it either. So what are prominent Muslims saying? Are they trying to defuse the situation? Are they trying to build bridges between people? Nope. Here's a Muslim scholar openly calling for Muslims to show no mercy to Israeli football fans in Birmingham.
Who has a Muslim as a rahmah. Remember, rahmah is in its place. It's in its place. When the Tel Aviv fans come to Birmingham in a few weeks, we will not show them rahmah in Birmingham.
I love how this video starts by saying how merciful and kind Islam is, and then immediately goes into the usual, but we must smite the infidels with our big curvy swords nonsense. Of course, he's allowed to call for violence because he's from a protected group. Can you imagine if a white neo-Nazi said the exact same things? This ban was pushed for by local politician Ayub Khan, who started a petition to get the Tel Aviv fans banned.
Well, excellent news for the people of Birmingham and most importantly, the residents here in Aston. I launched a petition to oppose the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans from coming to Birmingham and then into the Aston Villa Stadium. The surrounding ward of Aston is a ward that sits within my constituency. And I had many residents and businesses express concern of the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans from coming into our area. Clearly, we have all witnessed the scenes in Amsterdam, the violence that was displayed by the fans the night before the match.
He calls Aston our area. Wow, it's amazing how I, as someone with ancestors going back centuries, have no claim to this land on this island whatsoever. But this guy, born in Pakistan, already has his area that belongs to him and his people, and he rules over it and he decides who's allowed in. I'm moving to Kandahar to order Kandaharis to give me land and let me impose my values and religion and decide who's allowed in. I'm sure the Kandaharis will be just as acquiescing as Britain's quizzling establishment is to people like Ayub. According to Ayub, many residents said that the Israeli fans need to be banned because they're really violent. Yeah, let's have a show of hands for who's worried about violence from Jews. And now, put your hand up if you're worried about violence from the religion of peace. Whoa, why are you guys so Islamophobic? Ayub said, I welcome the news that Maccabi Tel Aviv fans will not be permitted to watch the match at Aston Villa. Well done to all those that signed our petition. He's absolutely reveling in the fact that Jews are banned. And he was open about the real reason.
The second aspect is one of as I say, a moral argument that Maccabi Tel Aviv football club should not even be playing within this international competition.
But the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans don't speak for the government of Israel, do they?
He said that Israelis should be banned from sport. Another Muslim politician, Zara Sultanabrand, straight up called for all Israeli teams to be banned from Britain. She said this was because she's against apartheid. So you want to ban a certain demographic group from Britain? That's literally what apartheid is, Zara. These are the people who have the power to call on their followers to be peaceful, but instead they're riling them up and using their violence as leverage. If Islamists have the power to ban Jews from Britain and it's being openly celebrated by Muslim politicians, what do you think they'll be celebrating in 5 years' time? In 10 years' time? Well, hopefully he's going to be celebrating his new life in his homeland of Pakistan, because this situation is untenable. In Britain, Islamist violence against Jews has been rewarded with the Jews being banned. The British state is acquiescing to Islamic violence on British soil. I hardly need to state what terrible incentives and precedents this sets. Number one, it's going to encourage Islamic violence because they can see that it works, and this will be excused by the establishment as it always is. Oh, don't look back in anger. And number two, it's going to encourage the formation of nation native British paramilitary groups, as Brits can no longer trust the state to protect them. And don't underestimate the link between football and war. We've seen football violence spark wider conflict before. A football match in Zagreb in 1990 that saw fighting between Dynamo's Bad Blue Boys, the Croats, and Red Stars Delije, the Serbs, was a prelude to the Yugoslav wars. The Serb volunteer guard later recruited heavily from the football fans for their soldiers. We've got an imported community with separate values and a separate religion who live inside this island, but they're geographically segregated. This is how balkanization starts. Keir Starmer said, "This is the wrong decision. We will not tolerate anti-Semitism on our streets." But anti-Semitism isn't just tolerated on our streets, it's inevitable. Britain has imported millions of Muslims, and because Britain is run by leftists who think that multiculturalism is a panacea, there are barely any checks on Islamic radicalization. We have over 40,000 Islamists on terror watch lists. We're now exporting terror. The Texas synagogue shooter was born here in Britain. Things are so bad that Gulf Arabs don't want to send their kids to the UK, to universities here, for fear that they'll be radicalized here. They're safer in the Middle East, where leaders are a bit less timid about tackling Islamic extremism. Whether it's through cowardice or whether it's being done deliberately, the British establishment is driving Britain towards civil conflict. And once the conflict escalates, it'll be very difficult to put the toothpaste back in the tube. Anyway, thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe and send this video to a deluded lefty in the family WhatsApp. And if you want to support me making these videos, you can sign up to my Patreon or my Substack or buy me a pint on the link below. And if you want to see me perform stand-up, I'm doing a solo show in Southampton on November 26th. Okay, thanks for listening. I've been Leo Kears. Bye. Bye-bye.